everyone. Welcome back to the Alicia Trautwein podcast. I'm your host, of course, Alicia Trautwein. And as always, we're here to have a real, honest conversations about parenting, neurodiversity, and everything in between. With Autism Acceptance Month right around the corner, I am thrilled to welcome today's guest, Grammy-nominated recording artist and advocate, Chris Redding. His music is not only a beautiful artistic expression, but it's also a powerful voice for mental health awareness and autism acceptance. So Chris's latest album, Colors in My Mind, dives deep into mental health. And he's also the co-founder of the St. Ellis Foundation, which we'll jump into a little bit later too, which I'm excited about. This is a resource that provides families with children on the spectrum, different resources there. He's got a lot going on. Let's dive into this conversation and learn more about his journey and his music and the impact he's making. Chris, welcome. How are you doing today?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me on here. It's anytime I can share my story and my voice in this space, I love it. This is what I live for. So thank you so much for having me on this platform.
Absolutely. First of all, a huge congratulations for your Grammy nomination. What was that moment like for you when you found out?
It was a surreal moment, but also it was just a moment taking the time to realize, wow, from all of the hard work that we've put in and it's just finally being recognized. But I would say the most important thing is just really being able to be a voice on a platform like the Grammys. There are so many neurodivergent individuals, people that have felt unheard and unseen for so many years, and to be able to share this type of story and to be recognized is just phenomenal.
Absolutely. And your previous album, Visions of Sound, was deeply inspired by your son who is autistic and nonverbal.
Right.
Can you tell us about how that album came to life and what it meant for you both as a father and as a musician?
As a father, I think it was the most powerful experience something that I ever got to experience in life. Being able to connect with your son that is nonverbal, it's phenomenal. When Christian was born, he didn't make a lot of eye contact. He didn't really show an interest in communicating as much until we started playing music for him. And when we started playing music for him, then he wanted to open up more. He wanted to try to communicate more, whether that was through sign language or just different sounds that he would make, vocal echolalia, and the stimming. And so we just took it all in, and then we made it a part of the creative process. So it was an amazing feeling, and it was something that I felt within my own self. I was able to learn and educate myself and experience just that connection with him in a whole new way. So very powerful.
Absolutely. Now, your new album, Colors in My Mind, focuses on mental health advocacy, and that's such an important topic, especially for the neurodivergent community.
Yeah.
What inspired you to explore this theme in your music?
It was kind of like it's a part of my personal mental health journey as well as other individuals in the world. I think we live in a time now where mental health is more of a term that's being discussed and more of a topic that people are talking about because we see the importance of it more than ever now. And so for me, it was a continuation of me just learning what it means to be a neurodiverse individual and a neurodiverse family, a neurodivergent individual, and having a neurodiverse family. It is something that is a journey for sure. It's something that you continue to learn about yourself. So me being ADHD, I was diagnosed at 13 and always knew my mind worked differently. But it's really been a quest of like finding your strengths and what you're really good at, but also understanding yourself in a way that you can thrive in any environment. So for me, the color of my mind was more of a continuation of Visions of Sounds because Visions of Sounds was just like this shock, finding my life is going to be different in ways I didn't even imagine, right? Me trying to comprehend and understand that and what that looks like with my son. But the colors of my mind is just more so as now that I have this understanding about myself, now it's up to me to continue to just make sure that I'm doing the healthy things to not only advance my understanding about neurodivergence and what it means, but also just like my state of being, state of mind. Because it's a lot that comes with that, and you need to just be okay with your environment and what works in your environment and taking care of yourself, really.
Absolutely. I absolutely love that your music not only is about artistry, but it's about making that impact, which is absolutely
Absolutely.
incredible. That connection that we all have, because what's one of those things with being in the neurodivergent community, arts of all sorts, we talked about this before, arts of all sorts connect with us. We're able to connect different ways through art. And so it just makes such a powerful impact for us. So also you're the co-founder of the St. Ellis Foundation, which provides resources for families with autistic children. So tell us a little bit more about what led you to start this foundation and what kind of support that offers.
Absolutely. So it was a brainchild of my wife, Serena. She wanted to really give back to other families and being able to connect with them in different ways. Once we got our diagnosis, your journey began, but we ran into so many different other people that were at another stage in their journey and they, needed some guidance or some help on understanding certain things. And so we wanted to build a community that fostered that. We wanted to build a community that was all about sharing where you're at in the process of getting the diagnosis and being helping individuals connect with other families and other organizations that provide resources. So it's just more so of a community building network. And we're proud to make a lot of great connections and a lot of different partnerships through St. Ellis Foundation. And Ellis is my son's Christian, his middle name. So it's a part of the life work of, you said, getting that diagnosis and then really understanding purpose and finding purpose within it.
Absolutely. And so many families do. They struggle with finding those right supports and resources, especially right after that autism diagnosis.
Right.
So, from your perspective, what are some of the biggest challenges parents face, and how can we as a society do better?
I would say acceptance is still a challenge, and not just from the community, the world, but even parents. So many things that we've learned about our son and we've come to terms with that this is our normal, this is our new normal, and this is the way his brain works. And every day we learn to be accepting of that and to understand him and his perspective of the world, right? A lot of times we see autism as something that you just want to jump in and fix. Your therapy, all those things are good and they do help to support and they're needed, but it's also a level of understanding of what his world is like. And that was the whole experiment behind Visions of Sounds. It was let me dive into his world through music and have this experience of communication with he and I and what that would look like. And throughout that creative process, I felt me being ADHD. Sometimes I also feel that I believe the word is be very empathetic of other individuals and what they may be going through, at least trying to get an understanding of it. And I felt like real symptoms of being overstimulated and wanting to communicate something, but not just finding the words. I felt all of that in the creative process. So it was something that was very real as far as that connection between he and I.
Absolutely. And yeah, music can be such a powerful tool for all of us. And
Right.
whether even if you're neurotypical, music is such a powerful tool and for definitely for healing and self-expression. To kind of segue into that, how has music played a role in your own mental health journey?
Oh, it's been something that is really a part of my daily life, literally. And not only me, but the entire family. So I have two sons, and when the boys are overstimulated, they're whining, they're not having a great day. I put on calming music for them, and it helps to change and shift their entire mood. And when I get ready to come down from the day and just relax, I put on calming music and ambient music
Yeah.
and I am able to just come down from all of this stress of the day. And so it's a huge part of my life, and it helps to regulate some of the emotions and some of the things that we're feeling. It helps to express them. So I think music can be used in a lot of different ways, and especially medicinal ways. And there's a lot more exploring to do when it comes to sound healing and what that means. So it's something that it's a daily dose in my life every day. So
Absolutely. I know I even for myself, I know there's different music I use for different times. I'll even when my brain is just in that overthinking mode and I can't get it to turn off, I'll turn on things that like the 8D music you see out there. That
right,
feels like mental floss. It goes through and it calms your brain. So that music can be used for so many different things. It's absolutely incredible.
right.
Jumping into you as a businessman from this side, music industry can be really tough, I know, with high expectations and constant pressure. What do you think needs to change in the industry when it comes to supporting artists' mental health?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that music industry, it's very entrepreneurial driven, right? And entrepreneurs studies show that they are impacted a lot under stress because they're managing so many different things. And a person like me that's ADHD, I like managing multiple things, right, at once. And that's what keeps me interested. That's what keeps my mind driving. But there's a burnout, and there is a part of that where it's sort of a dark side of that where you're exhausted and you feel overwhelmed. And so I think in the music industry, there could be a lot of programs to help just support artists, especially neurodivergent artists. A lot of artists are neurodivergent to help them with just sort of putting some of these things in perspective. And a lot of there could be programs to help with just day to day life things. Things are important. Even healthcare is always a topic because they're spend a lot of time in creative mode, but they're not focused so much on their health and their mental state, right? So that's important. And I think that there's a lot of great programs out there that have done a lot of great things and support musicians. Music Cares is one of those organizations. They're part of the Recording Academy, and they do a really great job with providing resources and aid to musicians. And so,
Absolutely. Now, you wear a lot of hats. You're a musician, advocate, parent. How do you personally balance it all while making sure you're taking care of your own self-care?
yeah, that's a great question. I think that it's very important to just do daily checks on yourself. I talk to myself and I say, how did that really make me feel? And how could I do this better? The self-evaluation and not just being critical, but just looking at how you can improve on things. I think that that is something that's a trait of ADHD that I think that a lot of people can really take from. Don't be super critical. Don't be super critical of yourself, but definitely take the time to notice things about yourself, to notice details about yourself, to notice unhealthy patterns, to notice the healthy patterns, and to focus on those things. Because at the end of the day, it's all about self improvement and it's all about just growing in every way possible that you can.
Absolutely. I know my husband does check-ins like that with my son. Very much of what was something positive today, what was something negative, and about the negative, what steps can we do to make it better next time? Those daily check-ins are so important. Yes, a huge improvement with my son with his emotional well-being, even as a 10-year-old. So just imagine what that does to us adults. It's just as impactful for us. So what's next for you after Colors in My Mind? Are there any upcoming projects or collaborations you're excited about?
Yeah, so I'm just excited about this. I'm actually in the thick of this album. It's not released yet, but I'm excited about just the twists and turns that it's taking creatively. It started out as it's a new age album, but it's an American new age album, and so the perspective. There's influences from R&B, there's influences from hip hop, there's influences from classical, right? But it's from this perspective of how I interpret all of the music in my mind, right? And how does it make me feel? So I do things that are very non-traditional in any specific genre, but and I think that that's what makes it new age. It's very experimental, but it has that ambient feel. There's meditation sequences, all of these things. So as the album develops, it's really just teaching me about myself in a way. So that's pretty cool. I'm like learning a lot about myself. So it's cool.
That's awesome. That makes me even more excited to wait for that one to come out. Well, before we wrap up, what is one message you would love to leave us, our listeners with, especially about parenting neurodivergent children?
I would say focus on their strengths. And I think a lot of times we focus on the things that they're not doing and the things that they're not good at maybe at the moment. And I want my child to be quote unquote normal versus let's take a look at what is really unique about my child and what makes them so special. And I think that that's sort of an instinct for parents. But sometimes I think we kind of forget that once we get a diagnosis and you realize, like, okay, my reality may look a little different than other people that I may know. But it's okay. Different is okay. And embrace those things and embrace their strengths because you never knew. I never knew in a million years that I would make an album like this and it would be the first of its kind and it would be nominated for a Grammy and it would foster understanding and so many different connections for my son in ways and I feel like it's his way in really shaping the world in his own way, and just you feel like we're all here to shape the world in some way. So it's his sort of contribution to the world to say, hey, I want to leave this place a little bit different or a little bit better than when I came into it. So that's what I would encourage for parents to do, is just to find that thing for their kid and really focus in on it.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, this has been such an inspiring conversation. Thank you so much for
As
sharing your story, your
you,
music,
thank
your
you for having
passion,
me.
your empathy. It's all incredible. And I
Thank
know
you.
so many of our listeners are going to resonate really well with what you've shared today. And for those of you tuning in, be sure to check out The Colors of My Mind, available wherever you stream music, right?
All
And
right.
then you can also learn about the St. Ellis Foundation and Chris's advocacy works. We're going to link that down below. And until next time, guys, keep advocating, keep learning. Remember, you're never alone in this journey.
Peace.